Couch Co-opers, welcome to another video from Oscar Cooper. I hope you're all doing well with your isolating, etc. Another 5 more PS4 Couch Co-op games from your boy. Trials Rising. Something's afoot here. I did enjoy Fusion. Everyone enjoyed Fusion. Kind of a staple Couch Co-op game, Trials. I waited for a bit for it to get cheaper. It's not cheaper. It's still fucking 30 quid or something. But they've buggered up here a bit. It would have, should have, could have been really, really high. And let me talk you through what my grievances are. You have to listen to Professor Fat Shady. Okay, now I've done this twice. Watch in the background in a second because it's showing me a beautiful 2-player only lane game where the camera is nice and close and it looks really cool. I can't find that anywhere. What's happening is the game is pushing me to a compulsory 4-lane setup. I don't like that because the camera's too far away. I'll show you it in a second. I've double checked everything and it's really annoyed me, and I can't remember if Fusion had it as well, but I don't want 4 lanes as a compulsory when I've only got 2 people sitting next to me. This is really a 4-player couch co-op game, I know that, but still take those other lanes out so that I've got that nice focus, because the game looks really good and it's really great to see the physics on the back wheels, etc., you know, in all that juicy bounce mechanic, etc. Can't really fault it and get that annoyed because it's completely geared up for a compulsory 4-player game model. I just don't understand why they wouldn't have done that, and also maybe I'm missing it. Put something in the comments if you know how to work this out. Please let me know. But I spent an hour and a half checking every option, making sure stuff like my other pads weren't signed in, do you know what I mean, by accident, and it was thinking that there was more players. Really annoyed me, but it's on the list. It's number 5. It's Trials Rising, Coop. Don't, get on with your life, mate. I just went back 4 weeks on my comments and I can't find the guy that recommended this. He knows who he is, and I remember responding and saying, oh look, oh my god, I'm so glad I looked. Override Mech City Brawl is everything it says it is. Yep, it's a giant kaiju mech beat 'em up in the vein of Pacific Rim, not the sequel, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You've got range, you can jump around, you've got a dash, you've got a Dark Souls lock on, and you've got massive monsters coming out of the ground almost constantly, and a really strict time system to make sure that you kill everything efficiently. It's very good. The 1 player is very, very good. Wanted to show it. Look at the destruction. I'm playing in a Norwegian village, for God's sake. Another thing that's very good is its customization levels and the amount of mechs and robots you can choose from. There's one that's particularly awesome, but all of the skins and everything are amazing. Like, they changed the silhouette of the actual mech. They're really cool. I've got like a suit tie on my original mech, which is on the far left, which is what you develop in the campaign, and that carries over to the 2-player. So I have selected a free-for-all, which means we're going to fight each other. And there's a certain caveats. You don't get access to that 1-player content annoyingly with the split screen. It's a versus brawler basically, but there is quite a lot of fun to be had here if you start tweaking around with stuff. So you've got a number of builds on your R buttons, and you've also got specials, and you've got little cells that build up. If you deal damage, you get given more specials. It's all about outmaneuvering the opponent, timing your specials, using the environment. It is interesting one-on-one, but there's a hell of a lot more fun to be had when you start adding in bots, or if you were to take this online. It does run quite well. Is a little bit of jankiness sometimes. The game freezes for a nanosecond. That's understandable because I do love the way it looks. I love its bulkiness, sound design, and its crazy mech design. Some of them are so awesome, I shit you not, and they have their own special moves set up, including like a Marvel vs. Capcom anime cutscene. So I got the most fun out of it with adding AI bots and having them on an opposite team. Are you with me? So me and my couch co-op buddy have teamed up to fight 2 AI robots, which is damn cool. And you can decide what city you tear apart as well. There's Japan, which looks really awesome. So I'm totally impressed with this game. And holy shit, any game where you can do this is just epic. Konami, what are you dragging this vampiric microtransaction hellish developer out of the darkness for? Because Super Bomberman R. Now, do you remember that awful Micro Machines trauma that we had where they remade it, took away all the good shit and left us with this horrible arena, crappy, just half-assed game? This, thankfully, is not the case. They have not taken away the core mechanics that make Super Bomberman absolutely amazing. And I do say Super Bomberman because the Super Nintendo version of this, I think for me, was the apex of the series. This has got some of that in there. I do like the fact that you can play the entire campaign with 2 of you co-op. That's a very good idea. That's a huge section of the game also. And there's boss fights, like proper big mech things, walking a big mech spider, etc. This game is one of my earliest couch co-op memories. I used to play a bootleg version of it on my Amiga 500, and 2 of us would have control sticks that were coming out of the keyboard, and 2 of us would be sharing the keyboard at either end using the keys. It was so good, and it is a 4-player diamond, okay, and still will be featured on one of my lists as a 4-player. I'm playing as Pyramid Head from Silent Hill, and I also saw Solid Snake on the character roster. You do have a sort of move on X. The campaign gives you some cool new drops that I haven't seen before in the series. It has pushed a bit more content to you. But just remember, there's a massive section here that's completely co-op and awesome and can be played with 4 people. I mean, it's a cheeky pay-to-win gems currency. Okay, this, Michael, don't get too wound up. This, I think, can lean towards microtransaction. If you run out, that's in-game currency. You get it for doing stuff. So it's not like you have to purchase your continues with real money. It's just there. There's an underlying purchasable content thing all around this game, especially with the characters. Now, the verses. The verses, as mentioned before, is a milestone in the industry. This game set standards for strategy, awesome fast gameplay, and more importantly, a 4-player setup. Now, we went in with just 2 players, and you have to sort of bomb your way out of the corner of the map, and it kind of take ages. So we started to add AIs, and that's where things got hella interesting. Upon death, you get put on the perimeter of the map and you can skate around and throw bombs in impartially. It's brilliant. And you can also... Don't get a landmine installed. Jesus Christ. Anyway, you can also knock people with the bombs. You knock them over. And that means that you get an opportunity to kill them and get back in the game. So it's got this sort of revolving technique with it. Very good. I don't remember that being in the original game model. There's also a timer, quite a strict one as well, and that perimeter then turns into these spikes and the arena gets smaller. I'm actually quite impressed with it. I'm glad it's not been ruined. Super Bomberman R, 3rd on the list. Put that volume down to 80%, that still doesn't make it any less intrusive. Sonic Mania is actually bloody really cool on a number of different levels. First of all, the flat out nostalgia level. It's a complete remake of the original Sonic game with the Tails, so it's got Sonic 1, 2 in here. Carl, don't, Oscar, don't get Chris Chan on your case. Like a Sonic greatest hits, let's say that. Now the Mania mode is obviously the first place you'll go to when you play the game. The Mania mode is the traditional Sonic setup with a few power-ups thrown in for good measure and Tails being in full control of the other pad. Now, as much as I think this was a genius mode at the time it came out, it's actually quite a redundant way to play the game as a second player, because poor old Tails is barely on screen. If you're as quick through some of the levels as most of us are, you're barely going to get a look in. You respawn in when Sonic is stationary enough for you to do so. So it's okay. Now, if you were paying attention on that front screen, you would have seen competition. As an option, I am in there like a rat up a drain pipe. Yes, so it times both levels laid against each other. You can race it. There's two levels. Hold on, I'll show the clip.
3, 2, 1, go!
Now this is bloody brilliant, because everyone's always boasting about how quick you can get through these stages, and to go versus and be in the same map so you see each other if you overtake, it's brilliant. It's such a great idea. Testing your Sonic running skills against someone else. That's something you would need 2 machines and 2 TVs and God knows what to do in the past.
2, 1, go!
Notice that it also gives me an option to change the aspect ratio. What an amazing thing to do, and to tell you the truth, I much prefer the traditional aspect with that gap on either side. It just seems to be a lot crisper than having it flat out on that panoramic view that you saw earlier. Maybe that's just me, that's your call, but so cool that they've catered for both ideas. Sonic Mania is a side-scroller's platformer's heaven, and I should have had it in that previous video, so apologies everybody, but this is a cracker and it's number 4 on the list, so holy moly mother of God. Slams us with another repeat on number 5. I'm sorry regulars, but yes, Team Sonic Racing is my number 5 for this list. I love it to bits. It's had 2 grinder processes from me. It got put up against Crash Team Racer about 2 weeks ago. So if you want to see more of the game, hop and have a look at that video. But it scores major points for having a local co-op full-blown campaign. So not just racing, but cool challenges and cool little things to do and a little mini-map to work your way through. That goes a long way when it comes to a Mario Kart sim. Performance-wise, it does look very good. I had a thing or two to say about some of the frame rates in certain sections of the courses, but it's a very good looking game with a lot of work behind it. It's really great to have such a slick looking split screen kart racer. As the title suggests, it's got an emphasis on team playing, so there's 3 of you normally, and you actually help each other by passing the perks and the powers around. If you're behind and someone needs a missile and you're in front, you can give it to them in game in real time, and it's really cool, and you get scored on having your whole team at the higher end of the roster. So I tested out what's called the standard Grand Prix, which is just you, no one else, against everybody else. It's basically a free-for-all. None of that team mechanic is in here. None of that passing around. You don't even use that button. So that was interesting. I wanted to see what it was like stripped down without that mechanic. And holy hell, it's damn good, because you are just so focused on getting to first place. The in-track hazards, the colours, the power-ups and the differences of them against some of its competitors is very refreshing. I like the Sonic characters. The story is a complete load of bullshit, but it's so cool when you go head to head with somebody. So yesterday I had a showdown with my daughter on this game, and it got to last lap, last corner stuff. It was so tense. It was so amazing. I'll play the uninterrupted final moments of the race, but it was brilliant, and it's for all the family. It's so great to have a game like this that can be enjoyed by everybody, especially in this particular scenario. So they're down there, people. Thank you very much.
Over, hedgehog on a mission. Easy, watch the paint job.